Hi, in this video I'm going to walk through showing how to add interactivity through the interaction system in SteamVR. And so what we're going to do here is add a couple objects and then be able to throw them and interact with them through the throwable and interactable components. So currently in this scene I have a player object in SteamVR and my teleportation system set up, which includes the teleporting object, which is the primary mode of configuring the system, and then the teleport area, which is currently set to 10 by 10, the same size as my overall plane. And so in this simple world, the teleport area is actually the mesh renderer component is actually toggled off, so you don't see the blue grid, and that's really more for just not seeing it. So it's an aesthetic choice, I guess. And so in your worlds, you might not want to see kind of the markers, but still have the functionality of teleportation. So just note that you can toggle that on and off. And so what we have here is our system. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of close the teleportation system and add in a couple game objects. So let's make a sphere, and I'll just kind of set it up on top of this this box right here. And we'll set the scale to, let's say, 0.25. So 0.25. So it's sort of just sitting up on top of this. And let's toggle off the gizmos here. They're kind of in the way. Or the gizmos, I can even like scale them down a little bit to still see them, but not see them as big. So there's our first game object. So this thing, we want to be able to grab our HTC Vive controllers and go and pick it up. And so the way you do that, the way you make it something you can interact with, is by making it an interactable object. So you click Add Component on your circle or your sphere, and you make it interactable. And just by doing that, when I hit play and grab my HMD, we can see that it, let's see if I can actually get to it. I might be a little too far away from my thing here. So I should be able to reach down and sort of grab the object, but I'm actually a little far away from my controller there. So, I'm going to move the player object further forward, so I'm sort of right next to it when I start my scene. So let's try that again. And so I start right here. Let's see if I can interact with it. Oh, I'm sort of out of my tracking range. So let's do that one more time. And let's go ahead and move this forward a little bit so I'm right there next to it. I just don't have a lot of room right around me, so that's kind of why I'm running into the problem. So if I scooch back a little bit and reach down, then what I get is a yellow outline showing up on the object. And so that tells me that my object is something I can interact with. So it's a visual cue that says this thing is interactable, and just by having this script on here, this component on the object. So and there's some parameters you can tweak on here with how it handles that. So the highlight on hover is basically the feature that's making it yellow right when you get up and get close to it. So let me move my player. I'm going to move my player, I think, maybe forward. Actually, let me move the ball forward. Do that. I want to be able to grab it. And I might actually scooch this and this up a little bit so it's sort of right in front of me. Let me try it one more time. I want to be able to sort of see the ball right here. So if I kind of go like that, you can see it interacts with the ball just by getting close to it. So that's what you should see on an object to interact with it. So at first I can't do anything with it. So I need to configure that. So the most common thing that you would do with objects in VR is pick them up. And so pick them up and drop them. So we're going to add to the same object the throwable component. So click throwable, and what it does is it turns on a rigid body, so it makes the object something that can interact with the environment and other objects through the physics system, and it has a script for how the object is thrown, so how it's handled when it's thrown. And so there's some other things you can configure here, but the big stuff is pretty much preset, and it has to do with the controllers. So when you throw something, there's a certain kind of velocity that your arm is moving with. And so let me hit play, and then I'm also going to do this. I'll toggle on the VR view here, full screen, so we can see. So if I put my device on here, my HMD, and you can see my output here, and I look at my hand. Of course I could teleport around because I have my teleport area sort of set up like so. And so now too, if I actually kind of need to go down a little bit, reach down, I can grab the object by squeezing the trigger and holding it, and my hand kind of disappears. I think there's a way to fix that, but I have the object in my right hand, and if I let go, it'll just drop. But if I throw it, it'll actually go away from me. And so maybe I can try to chase it before it falls off the edge of the world here. I don't know if I can reach it. It's moving pretty fast. So let's watch it fall off the end of the world. So it's going to go to the edge of my map here and fall off. There it goes. So I'm kind of far away from my cube now. Bring it back over here. Okay, so we're back where we started. But the point is, you can make objects interactable with the interactable component, and hit stop on this, and the throwable component. So to learn more about how these things work, there's two places you can start to look. SteamVR. Just look up the SteamVR documentation, which is going to be under here. And essentially the quick start is kind of what we've been working through. But under the interaction system right here, you will find explanations of how different objects operate. So you have your player object, which is, again, just you as the player. It's this object, it's the controllers and your camera and your HMD. And then there's other things that are in here, so interactable objects, throwable objects, and teleportation, just a little bit more detail around what these objects are and how they are working. And to kind of dig further into other interactions, you can look for, let's see, samples. Look at this interactions example under the SteamVR interaction system. So let me save that. If I open this, you'll see essentially a scene that's built out that has examples of using different SteamVR components. So you can hit play on this and go and kind of explore the different zones that are in here. So with that, that's the end of this video. Kind of wrap up. This is, again, just a standard object. I added the interactable script and the throwable script by clicking add component and including them here in this object. So try it with other objects, try it with meshes and other things that you import into the scene. Try it with other 3D objects that are in here, and see what kind of results you get. So thanks for watching.